Hey, what is up everybody, Blades for here today for you guys another video of Persona 5X. Inside today's video guys, we're going to be going over my pool plans for at least global to show you guys exactly what characters I'm going to be going for and the reasons why, if you guys want to go ahead and follow this pool plan as well. So if you guys are interested, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. As always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, really does help me out a lot. We're coming even closer to 16k as we're going, or at least our next goal is 16k. So all the support is absolutely nice, and let's get straight into it. So this is one of the few things that I've been thinking about doing for quite some time now, especially with a pool plan, seeing that now we've hit the first milestone, which was core. So now that core is here and we've already gotten that character, my next deal of pulling is more or less going to go to my next support, because we already have a DPS, which is my AoE DPS Joker, and then we have my single targeter being Makoto. So my next few plans are going to be a little bit muddled. Next version is 2.1 being for global here, so that's going to most likely be Summer Motoha. And even though she is an extremely good AoE DPS, once again we don't need one right now, so I'm probably going to end up skipping her, seeing that she is mainly steered in that direction and we don't have Marion. But the next character that I'm fully going into pulling is actually the big one, being Futaba. Now Futaba is one of the few characters in this game that is insanely broken as well, and she is a Navi. Now we only have one 5-star Navi being Phoebe currently in global side, but the next 5-star is going to be Futaba, and since I don't have Phoebe currently, this makes this even more so a priority on my list. Reason for getting Futaba is quite simple. Her skills are really good, for at least a skill 1, downing the enemy, making sure their defenses are very low, allowing us to pretty much deal more damage. But also her whole gimmick, being the skill 3, is pretty much weakness implants. If you guys know what's called Silverwolf from HSR, you guys will immediately know what I mean by this, in which weakness implant is pretty much something where the enemy, let's say, is resistant to fire. Well, with that skill 3, we give ourselves a buff on our character, and then alongside of that, we're then able to make whatever that character was, let's say Joker, well, I said fire, so let's say on, we put that buff on, we're now able to make sure the enemy is weaker to them. So if they are resistant to at least our on, and now we have done that with the skill 3, it now makes it so they're now normal to on. If they're normal, they go of course to weak, and if they're weak, they take 25% extra weakness damage. These characters changed a lot of things for the 5-star variants, especially for the Navis, so I don't want to try to pull for her. Now, when it comes down to everything that you want to invest in, my invest plan is to get the A1 minimum, because the A1 gives us a little bit more on the 15%, or I think it was 12% for our critical rate. Crit rate is a huge deal inside of this game. It allows you to get as much of this as possible on your DPSer, and since she is a Navi, she's going to share even more of this, and this makes it so I can then use crit damage as a primary card for most of my DPSs, rather than using a crit rate card or heavily investing into crit rate. The more crit rate I have just off of other characters who share their stats, the better this can be, and it can allow me to deal even more damage. Another side of this is with the A1, you then can get your analysis progress up to 100%, which makes it so her buff, or aka the skill 3, is even more powerful, and the debuff that she applies on the enemies is even more powerful for our skill 3 and our skill 1. So that's my first character I'm going to be going for on my pool plan. But in the future, which I'm going to look pretty far in the future, there are a few other characters I plan on getting. The next character is going to be Runa, being at least Howler. Now Howler didn't come out till like, I think it was 3.0-ish around that time for TW, so it was a little bit of a long time, but she is a standard character. The reason why I am going for this character next, even though she's standard, is because she is a debuffer that is immensely good. We don't get any more debuffers for quite some time. I think she is the next debuffer in line after we of course got Vino, so this will be another huge deal for most people, because you're going through all these DPSs such as like Mesa, Haru, of course S Motoha. You're going through all of these characters, but now we need another debuffer. We've only had a support being Cord, and we've had a Navi that's really good to help us out on that supporter, but we don't really have a buffer. Well, Howler is the next one that is truly meant for this, and she does a few things. She can act as a AoE DPS, or I mean AoE debuffer, being that you end up using her skill 1 into the skill 3, which does an AoE debuff, or you can make her into a single target debuffer, being the skill 2 into skill 3, making it a single target debuff. Both of which are really good. She does her at least her sides for doing this, good in either way. So it's kind of nice to go ahead and invest into this character, and at that point we'll have a lot of standard characters, so just waiting for her to be on the standard banner would be a little bit of a hard deal. Plus, if I decided to invest into her weapon, which her weapon is really good as well, it increases her accuracy by like a 36%, and it also allows me to get more debuffs on the enemy for both her single target and her AoE, which are both defense down increases. So this will be a very good character to really invest into for my plans in the future. That's pretty much it, and I'm trying to go maybe to the anniversary, which is going to take a long time. So this is mainly a foresight for me all the way to the anniversary, or at least the anniversary, if you guys are trying to follow this as well. But the next character, besides of course Howler and our character Futaba, is going to be Kasumi. Now this is going to be a hard one because Kasumi, for a lot of people, everyone's going to be pulling for her. I don't have a blessed DPS. This is going to be one of the few blessed DPSs, or DPSs in general, that I will invest to, and that's because one, she's a single targeter, so she's going to deal a lot of damage when I need her to, and two, I definitely will need a blessed character. There's no other blessed characters other than Summer Closer for DPS, so if I'm trying to do anything that's blessed related, I really want to have a character that can deal that damage. Kasumi does a huge spike in damage for at least the single target side of things, so it would be in my best interest to get this character. Not to mention, at that point in time, we should have a lot of events, so being able to restore a majority of my gems should be rather easy. The only hard part is Howler comes right before Kasumi. I think Howler was in 3.0 and then Kasumi was literally in 3.1. So it's going to be like a back-to-back summoning session for me for this whole situation, which can be a little bit of a problem because I'm going to be going for the weapon and of course Howler, maybe a dupe into Howler, and then I'm immediately going to have to go for the weapon and Kasumi. I'm not really going for a dupe because I don't have her as a A1 over here. So, and she works perfectly fine, builds are really good. So I don't think it's needed to go for a dupe, but I do know her A1 is very good. And depending on if they buff her, it might be even better to do so. But currently, I think this is going to be my next one I go for with the single target damage side. But I think that's about it for that. Now, going all the way up to right before anniversary here, the next character I will be investing in, which is going to be a buffer, is Winvast. Now Winvast is a huge buffer. This will be the end of the Palace 3 where we end up getting this character, and she helps out in crit damage buffing with a ton of different things. No, you cannot use the same weapon on her. You do have to get her actual 5-star weapon. So I'll be going for her and her 5-star weapon. Just in between this time of Kasumi immediately is Wind. So it's going to be a back-to-back summoning session, Howler, Kasumi, and Wind. So it's going to be a little bit harder if you guys are also going to be following this pool plan. But if you've been saving since let's say our last character was Futaba, if you've been saving since then, you should probably have at least 2 to 3 patches worth of gems worth to continue going back and forth. I'm going to be saving quite a lot even in between that before then, so there hopefully is a decent time for me to get all of these characters and get their weapons. So this character is really good. She's going to help you out a ton, especially with the crit damage side of things, and she restores her SP, and the more SP you do have on her, the more crit damage she will end up offering. So this is one of the few characters that I will recommend a lot of people if you're trying to follow the pool plan that I'm doing, to go ahead and invest into her as well. If you can get the A1, which is going to be something that's going to be hard for me to do, it will help you out because then you do get a crit damage increase. She's able to be changed on different teams, so she's not bound to a win team, but she can be used in multitude of teams. Of course, at A0 you can't do the same thing, but you don't get the additionals that she ends up offering for being A1. So I do want to try and be a little bit greedy and get A1 for her, but that's going to be my next pool. Now the last and final pool before we get to what's it called, the main event, which is going to be anniversary, is going to be later down the line. I'm probably going to be pulling for Turbo, and Turbo is a standard character once again. The main reason I'm going to be pulling for this is because Turbo makes a huge appearance inside of this game. She, as a standard unit, is used in a ton of different teams and is increasingly getting better and better with each character that comes out. She's kind of like a universal buffer that is very known for a bunch of your teams you're going to end up using. And it's because the more that she gets her speed up, the more different buffs she can really provide. She helps out with attacking, pin, HP, defense. She helps out with a little bit of everything, in which makes her very valuable for me. And and I think that I really want to have this. Alongside of this, she gives an additional turn with her extra turn satisfaction, or at least her extra turn system, which can mean I can use my Joker team even more, or use other teams that can benefit off of the damage bonuses that she ends up giving out as well. So it gives me a little bit of time to store up a lot of gems, get this character. I'll probably get her weapon out of exchanges from a ticket, so I don't have to buy the weapon or either invest pools into getting the weapon. I would just have to get her, maybe her A1 if I'm lucky, or I might save some of my things to get A1 a different way. But I definitely will be getting this character, and which will lead us to 4.0. As a no-brainer, we will definitely be getting the 4.0 navigator, which is going to be it's Ange here. That's pretty much my pool plan. This character is definitely going to be getting pulled with A1 or A2 and her weapon, so I'm trying to save up as many gems as possible for this release, and I advise a lot of you guys to do this as well. So if you guys do want to follow this, be sure to go ahead and look at that pool plan. I think this is really all I'm going to go with, unless they change something dramatically. This is all I'm summoning for, at least to the 4.0 version. So thank you guys very much for watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. Peace.